This episode is sponsored by J&J Garage. Top quality, cheap prices.
J Garage, we do excellent brakes and clutch repair. Pressure plates, flywheels, disc brake pad, brake shoes, clutches. Any job you have, cars, vans, jeeps, buses, trucks, and tractors. Just call J&J Garage, 1-876-408-3836, 887-7504 for all your pickup and delivery service throughout the 14 parishes.
So, welcome to another SportGlobe YouTube channel video. I want to thank everybody for joining us again for another video. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our video as we, tend to bring it even much more now. All right, so Rudy, thanks again for coming on, and thank you for joining me again, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Even though we're out here in the cold, we got to do what we got to do. We still got to share the news. We still want to get the news out to the folks. Even though I'm here right now, I'm coaching. I still want to take the time out to join you, and thank you for having me on with you. And then certainly, let's try and get this going and some points that's happening in the world.
Yeah, to just make a quick little point, Rudy, as you talk about you coaching, I said that you're in an indoor facility, so even though it is super freezing cold outside, the athletes still coming out to these indoor facilities to get their bodies ready and to continue the training. So the cold doesn't stop the training.
It doesn't stop anything. It doesn't stop the training. Training had to go on, and like I said, we have about three indoor facility here in Toronto, so that's one of the major ones right now. So we are the national team trains out of here too. Right now they're in Grenada, training, but the national team train out of here. So that's exactly where we are now. So yeah.
All right. So Rudy. So a couple of big news items that we wanted to jump on today, as we promise our fans that we're going to bring them some big news items and give them all views on it as well. So one of the ones is the FIFA former president of FIFA. All right. Of course, the World Cup is this year, maybe 145 days, from the start of the FIFA World Cup finals. That is this year, 2026. Former President Sepp Blatter, who was the immediate president before Valentino, right? Now he's coming out and he's joining a number of different voices, because the UK also mentioned about boycotting this Olympics, and the Dutch also voiced boycotting this Olympics, several of them, and for many different reasons, which include visa restriction for a number of countries. Yeah, and also
World Cup, not Olympics, World Cup.
For the World Cup, yeah, correct. Oh, yeah, for the World Cup, right? So visa restriction for the World Cup. Also, the fact that there is Ukraine and the US not wanting to put that war to bed or helping to put that war to bed. A lot of things with the US president and a lot of rhetoric around it. And also the last thing, which was a big thing of recent times, is the whole thing with Iceland. And the US wanted to take over Iceland, so the Europeans are very much up in arms in regards to not competing at the World Cup this year if that is going to go ahead. So that's a bit of politics that has creeped in as well. So apart from the fans, a lot of the fans who have cancelled their bookings with several hotels because they just can't come. So lots of countries and their fans are not going to be able to come to the World Cup. So even if the players come, the fans are not going to be coming to the World Cup. So that's a big problem right there. So with 145 days to go, Rudy, I tell you that this is such a major disaster for the biggest sporting showpiece on earth. This is the biggest showpiece that we have. This is the most popular sport. This is the most popular event that we have in terms of sports. And the US leadership and the politics that they are, thinking right now is seemingly wanting to spoil the whole thing.
Suddenly, listen, man, it's disappointing because, it was Donald Trump on his first term who had the engagement to get the FIFA in the United States. It was him. So the fact that, this is his legacy to an extent. You put the work in to make sure that the World Cup get to you get to the United States, and then you split it with Mexico and Canada because of the relationship. And then now you are making it, then you are destroying it. You put it together and you're destroying it in a sense, right? And there's a lot happening. I know you mentioned Iceland, but it's Greenland actually. It's Greenland. You understand? So certainly, the issues with a lot of this thing is that the people don't feel comfortable anymore in America. We've seen it in a sense. Even Canadian who go skiing, they no longer do that no more. So some of the states and stuff is really, being hurt because Canadians don't travel there no more because of how they feel of how certain behavior and how certain things going on in the United States. So yes, to an extent, the football is different. People don't care if there's a war in a country. As long as it's football, they want to go. They don't care. That's the mindset of footballers. Footballers think different from any other sport. Even if there's something dangerous happening in this country, they don't care. They want to go. That's in mind because they want to represent. They want to support the country. So certainly, it's a big disappointment to see that, and I hope it gets fixed. And the frustration is globally, not only in the United States with the Americans, but globally with all the countries who's affected. Not the players. We say that many times. It's not the players. It's the fans. And most of these people, they don't want to come here and do stuff with other fans. They want their fans to be involved.
Is a big disappointment because right now, I don't even know if people really wanted. For me personally, I don't even think that the World Cup should have come to the US at all.
Nah. Listen, I
really don't think so.
I said many times ago, if you give the US time, they will take over in football. I say if you give them time, they will take over. And you slowly see some changes because you see players like Messi coming in, and the US team has actually been very good. Our past few World Cups, they've been good. But certainly, I don't think they're ready for it under this administration. I think it'll be better because it's not only the football that has been affected. Remember, they're hosting World Juniors, and they have athletes from other countries that may not get the visas. Yeah. So we're talking about like we're dealing with you think that issue with a lot of Caribbean islands. Grenada is one, Jamaica is one, other islands. Them young kids and them who want to get visa, they may not get the visa to come to the World Juniors. That's taking place in. So it's not only the football that's been affected. Yeah. Track and field has been affected. A lot of sporting events. Yeah. So a lot of sporting event is being affected right now. So a lot of things might be pulled from the US because of this administration. And by the time they try to get the act together and say, okay, let's fix it, it might be too late.
It might be too late. Bad thing. All right, so let us take another big news story that has been coming out, Rudy, and it's in regards to track and field in the US, right? Because a former US sprinter, try and get his name, Ray something or the other. Let me see if I can get his name here. So he's a former USA sprinter, promised to burn down track and field in the US with widespread doping allegations, and he said that he has facts to back it up.
You see, a lot of these guys in them have things that we don't know about. We heard, it's not facts, but we heard that there was reported that some officials knew that Carl Lewis was on something. We don't know that for a fact, but that's the word out there. The Carl Lewis was on something and da. A lot of these guys in them is in training camps. They might see things that we don't know. They might hear things that we don't know about. So, and then again, I also have to be mindful because these things is something that could be secret. If I'm personally doing something, nobody know about it, and I know it's something illegal that can get me banned, and I ain't telling nobody. So the fact about it that somebody has something, your proof have to be concrete. And if you're coming out with something like this, come full out. Don't come and give piece of story. Yeah. If you're going to give a story, give a story.
He says here that it's been reported in the media that he's got to come forward with the information, right? Because he has good and credible information, right? And I think the whole thing stemmed from the Bracey ban. When Bracey got caught, he had information in regards to all of that. But
we're on here and talking real talk, right? Now, one of the things to do with that is he trying to make a money? Is he trying to get a sponsor? Is he trying to get a company that will come on board with him? You understand? I mean,
I don't think he's trying to make any money, Rudy, because he's not
bring it out.
competing anymore.
Then bring out the
This is
message.
a X is not running
Yeah.
anymore.
So my thing is that bring the message out. Stop saying you're going to bring it out and bring
Yeah.
it out. Don't
But
say you're going to just bring it out.
but look at this though, Rudy. Is the US track and field in crisis, in doping crisis though, because of recent time, three top tier athletes,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
has been saddled with drugs allegation or get caught with drugs or banned.
But then,
And one
but
of
then the
them
thing about it,
is a young promising
yeah.
athlete, you know, somebody who was going to
But you
lead the
see,
US track and field.
but you see the problem I also have with that too. You see, U.S. track and field also stand on its own, right? So they're sort of like a body on their own, and all the other athletes is individual who wants to be a part of it when the time comes, but not really a part of it. If you understand what I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
So we let's say that U.S. track and field athletes. I don't know. I don't really think we should say the U.S. track and field. I think we will say U.S. track and field athletes is in crisis because now it's really coming out stating that hey, you guys have some issues. So now, yes, you might say the U.S. track and field looking bad, but they're not looking bad.
Mhm.
To them, the athletes look bad because in the end, you only hear about when somebody get caught. You only heard about is the athlete. You never hear about the U.S. track and field.
Hey,
You never hear
Rudy,
about the U.S. track and
you know,
field.
hear
Yeah,
about US track and field, which is right. You always hear about the
yeah,
athlete, but you know,
the
as I
athlete.
was looking up this whole thing, I remember Balco scandal, all them things that happened in the US. You know,
In
I
the
mean,
U.S. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, we have to examine the US. Totally, the US needed to be
Because
examined, to
they
be audited, because they have, from time to time, they
to
have
time to time
lots
for
going
years.
on,
Yeah,
too much
yeah, and
going
it's a
on.
lot. And we going back from way back in the 80s, in the 90s when you hear about some of the top tier athletes and you see
Hmm.
the kind of times that they run and then they disappear and I'm not saying there wasn't anything. I don't know. You understand me?
Hmm.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the people probably say Michael Johnson wasn't something. They probably say Maurice Grid. Bam, come on, do something, and it's
Yeah,
gone. Then you
yeah.
have Million Jones was a big one. They probably said Jackie Gina. They probably could say all these top tier athletes, and I'm
Hey,
pretty sure they
Rudy,
wasn't out there. There was something
we
was going.
the track and field world can see the ones who are, and we
Of course, of
pretty
course.
much can see the
Yeah, you can
performances
see
and
it.
the difference in the
Listen,
performances.
man. I
So when
I
we look
hear
at the
Sepp
Michael
Blatter.
Johnson, you can always suggest,
Yeah,
but it doesn't look so,
it
you
doesn't look
know.
so. Yeah.
But
I
I
had
mean, when
thought.
you hear about Lance Armstrong in cycling and what he has been doing for so long, and how
Yeah,
great that was, and it looked out of this world, you know. So Marion
yeah,
Jones, she was just out of this world. When you look at those performances, you can see that something was just a little bit off, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Tim Montgomery, as I was looking up back at the
Yep,
information, those
yep, yep,
performances
yep,
that these guys
yep.
were doing was a little bit off. So
Yeah, but look at
so
that.
you know
When
something
Marion
wrong.
Jones, when Marion Jones break the world record, she didn't even use her spikes. She forgot her spikes at the
That's
hotel.
that's
Somebody
what
else
I'm
spikes she used.
saying.
So the spikes, so the spikes make her run fast.
So you can see these performances and you know something is wrong. So so that's I don't know. I think US, as you say, it might not be USA track and field, but I think athletics in the US is in a crisis state, and I think there is something that they need to examine and look at. Anyway, let's move on to the other
Yeah.
big news of the day, though, which is coming out of Jamaica. Well, it is international because this young lady from Jamaica, she also joined the enhanced game, as I saw in the Observer today. Not so much of a prominent track athlete, although I can't remember. I was trying to find out where did she represent Jamaica, but she's Danae McFarlane reported in the Observer that she had signed up for the enhanced game as well, and she's the second Jamaican to do so. And of course, my question is this the door openers for the enhanced game? Because now with her, I think five other athletes, which include, I think it was two track athletes and swimmers. I think there are some swimmers that had joined up recently, and I'm talking what just come out with her. So some more athletes have joined up as well. So is this the door opening for the
Well,
whole thing?
well, a few things about that, right? I don't know if it's a door opening, and I think sometimes when we read something, we read it the wrong way. Sometimes I
Hmm.
think I think some of these athletes do their due diligence before they went in, regardless if his information is good or bad. They do their diligence in terms of what may happen to them. Just as if anything happened to anybody, you go, you sit down with a doctor, they give you the cons and the pros, the cons and the pros, they give you all this information. And I think that's really what it is. They look at everything. They probably ask all the questions, and to them, whatever information they receive, it benefit them. That's one. Two, the money. The money is a part of it too. It's almost like free money, but danger to your body in a sense. So yes, we can say free money, but but there is a cost to money. So there's a cost to money like that. You understand what I mean? It's funny. I seen a story. I seen a story real quick. I know we're on the same topic, but when a football player was in college, making $250,000 a month, and they say he was broke. $250,000 a month, and they say he was broke. And then he said he went to the NFL a month. He went to the NFL and he's making $1 million and he's doing good. So I'm just saying, when the money comes into everything with people, you understand me? It become a money thing for them. The sport itself, they forget the sport. The sport, we're losing the sport to money. We've seen it in cricket. We've seen it in football. Basketball, we are losing the sport to money or grid. And for basketball, we see how LeBron James came in and, in my opinion, spoiled the thing because he needed a ring so bad, so he get players together to play to win a ring. They didn't win the first year, but they end up winning again. I'm not saying and it's all about that. You know what I mean? Listen, in track and field, there is 8 people in the finish line. Average 7 if someone falls start. One person could win. You might get a tie, but how many times you get a tie in 100 meters? In every race, in every competition,
a conversation that I was having with an agent, which is a legal agent too. Only the top 32 athletes, high performance athletes in the world make any money at all. The top 32, right? So the top 8 is the top 16 is the ones who make good money. And then the bottom 16, they just make a little money to kind of sustain themselves. So they're making no money. So
Richard, we're talking about 12 to 13% of athletes that are making money.
Yeah,
12 to 13%.
So my argument, Rudy, is that, and I hear that you say, boy, money is leading the thing, but I tell you this much: sports people are seeing that money has been made in sports. So from every basketball game, from every NFL game, from every NHL game, from every track and field meet, somebody's making money. But what these athletes are saying is that we are the product and we are the ones who are supposed to be making the money. Now, the persons who are just the organizers and the thing supposed to be making some money, but it cannot be that the product on the shelf is what is not making the money. They are not making any money. So that's why everybody's going for the whole thing. So the whole thing is very uneven.
It's uneven.
Of course, you have investors and you have people put up their money, but it's uneven.
And that's the thing. We're talking about many times, and we're going to have many discussion about it. Where's the money in track and field? But we see that the money is there. It's going in the wrong thing. It's going to things that give people pleasure, not into actually giving the athletes the actual real thing. Because to somebody who invests into enhanced games, listen, they don't want to see a world record break. They want to see this person will die. That's my opinion. They want to see what will happen to an athlete when they take this type of drugs. Not to see a world record break.
My curiosity.
But people break world record all the time. It's not the first time.
Of course. My curiosity with the enhanced game, those Rudy, is that how is it that they are able to find money for the enhanced games? That's right?
Yeah, but
I mean, you hear sponsors talking about, oh, we can't find the money for track and field, or we can't find the money for track and field, we can't put enough money in track and field, but they put enough money in enhanced games. So that is my curiosity with the whole thing. Secondly, for the athletes that signing up for the games, ensure that the Michael Johnson syndrome don't reach the enhanced games again. Be sure that you get your money. Because that's another crisis situation with track and field, and then that will be so.
To me, there have to be an upfront money. And listen, you give me the money upfront. I want my money upfront. You give me upfront money. That's my opinion. Contract got to say upfront money.
I support that too.
End of performance money. You understand me? So maybe
Yeah.
we don't know the contract. We'll dig up and see what we can find and listen and see what we can get to see if
Hmm.
there is something like that. We'll we'll just search around. But until then, we don't have a thing. We have about a minute left. So
All right, yeah. So Rudy, as we wrap it up, big upset today, Tuesday morning, in tennis, the Australian Open. Coco Gauff losing in straight sets.
yeah.
What do you think about that? She never looked too
Listen,
comfortable at all throughout the entire thing. I mean, I set up
listen.
and
I
watched the
did
whole
tell
thing. I mean, she lose 6-1, 6-2, to Elena from the Ukraine lady, which is seeded number 12, and she's seeded at number 3. So, and she never looked good at all.
yeah. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of things that's going on, and even going back to the Japanese one, or the Japanese, is she Japanese? That pull out.
She has a mix.
Um,
She has a mix of,
she's
of
mixed. She's
black
mixed.
and Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she pulled out, and I'm questioning her pulling out. In my
Hmm.
opinion, I think there was an issue in the previous game, and she's somebody who's soft. Yeah, she looks like she's soft. She can manage certain things. That's my opinion,
Yeah.
based on the past. And she step away because she can
Well,
manage the
well, to
interview
be
and all these kind of
to be
things. And no, and look at that. No, they say injury. I don't know, but that's me. Um,
yeah
but
to be fair
listen,
to her,
I don't expect. Yeah.
yeah, to be fair to her though, is that she had an argument to the player before, right?
Yep,
She
yep.
had an, yeah, she had an argument to the player before, and I don't know if that argument had stemmed to the reason why she decided. But from previous tournament, she has complained about mental situation and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't have too much in regards to watching her. I like her play. I like the whole thing about her play. But in terms of attitude, because she came to the Australian Open in a wedding dress, fantastic looking, and it's good for the sport too, because I like the whole excitement about it, and the whole thing is good for the sport. But it was
Yeah.
it was something it
But
was
but
something
but
else.
but
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 I mean, that's who she
hear
is.
me and Coco. Yeah, hear me and Coco right now. I'm not disappointed. Like, listen, to get to the greatest, to get to the top, and to be the greatest, you have to go through some things, right?
Yeah,
We've seen it with Serena Williams, Venus Williams. We have seen it with Steffi Graf. We have seen it some of the greatest tennis players before. They lose in big competition. They lose it and they
yeah,
upset. You get it. You go back to the drawing board and you put your stuff together. I mean, it's not new. You understand? And I get the
yeah,
frustration now, and we make it into this big thing. But other athletes who's great has been there before. It's how you bounce
yeah.
back. Because the
That's
same
it.
thing, remember, the number one girl, Coco beat her. And there was this big
Yeah,
thing and the girl
yeah,
disrespect her. But the next
yeah,
time they meet, the girl beat her back. So those things come about, those things happen. Coco is a great athlete. You see the Canadian one, the Canadian girl, look how she's coming up. Look how
yeah.
far
And
she's coming
Boko.
from.
Yeah,
To where she's at now, right? So yes,
yeah,
when we are seeing, but what I like to see is now we are seeing the syndrome of the sisters in tennis.
yeah.
The two black girls who rise up to where they are. We have seen it now with Coco. We have seen it with the Canadian. There's another American. There's other black
Yeah,
athletes. We
there's
have
there's
seen it
a
with
few Americans.
yeah,
There's a few Americans.
yeah. And that's what
So
we want
it
to see.
looking good.
And we want to
Yeah,
continue
man.
that. So certainly,
All right, so
yeah,
let's give it the result on the men's side though. Is that Alcaraz from Spain, he won in straight sets this morning. 7-5, 6-2, 6-1, beating the Australian number one guy. But hey, it
yeah,
was a good game. It was a good
for
game.
sure, for
So
sure.
I think tonight we're going to have. Is he seeded at number 4? Djokovic is going to go up against the Italian man. So look out for that. So big
Yeah,
things are going
yeah,
on at the Australian Open. So
yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
appreciate it, Rudy. Thanks you a
Man,
whole
it's
lot.
always a
And
pleasure. It's always a
you
pleasure.
know,
Remember to go and share the thing, and invite your
yeah,
friends, invite your family, share the thing. Let everybody know. Sports Global is just talking. You give us your views, tell us what you feel, what you think,
yeah.
and then we're gonna respond back on our next chat with you guys.
All right. Thank you so
Uh,
much.
Thanks,
That's
man.
it.
No problem.